They say when there's life, there's hope. But who are they? Do they know what they're saying? Is there really hope? I don't even know where I can find it. There are so many bad events in the world. Problems are here and there. Just problems, no solutions. Oh, how I miss the kind of life I had before. Just staring at a blank space, thinking, no happiness, confused, wanting to give up, suffering, wanting to quit. Sacrifice is what my heart is screaming. Rain is falling, as my tears also fall. Why did it have to happen? Why now of all seasons? I am in despair. I resent responding again and again. But then one day, as I awake, I found myself surprised, for I've come a long way. I then ask myself, how? How did I not notice that in the first place, you were there carrying me? How can it be that you can answer all my questions? How is it possible that in the midst of all the chaos, you are my peace? They say when there's life, there's hope. I think they're right. Because you are life yourself. You are hope yourself. Live Life is a pillar of the Live Christ, Share Christ mission. We advocate the beauty of faith, family, and life. We proclaim the truth and goodness of life. Life is precious. Life is a gift. Life can be lived to the full. In Christ, anything is possible. In Christ, we will live life.
Life is a gift. It is the greatest gift given to us. It is the breath of God in us. It is that which makes us alive. And this very gift is under attack. Life is attacked on all fronts: divorce, unnatural end of life, abortion, total population control, and homosexual and irregular unions. As Catholics, we cannot stay on the sidelines. We cannot be spectators to the ongoing war against faith, family, and life. We have to be involved, and we have to be equipped. In this next set of workshops, let us study and unmask the evils that try to harm the goodness of life, and courageously respond to the work of upholding and defending life.
Good day. Today, there are 7 billion people in this planet. Our country alone reached the 100 million mark in 2015, and today our population totals 106.7 million. Are we then? You must say, overpopulated? Are we poor because we are many? Well, that is what the G7 countries, the most advanced economies, Japan, France, the United Kingdom, the US, Italy, and Germany, that is what they want us to believe, that our problems are stemming from the fact that we are overpopulated. They say we are hungry, we are poor because we are many. And I think they have been quite successful in making us believe that. After all, if you are in your 30s right now, you might probably be unmarried. Or if you are married, you don't have children yet. You do not plan on having children. Or if you do want to have children, you are limiting yourself to just two children. If you are like most young couples, you would have a financial sheet for every child that comes along. And in that financial sheet, you not only factor education or childcare, but you factor things like career plans and such modern ideas like vacation, travels, experiences. You see, my children are in their 30s. I have I have five children. Two of them are married, and they have limited themselves to two children. My two other children who are in their 30s, when you talk to them about marriage and family, they they feel like you're talking about a weird concept. So my only hope for many grandchildren is from my youngest child, but she just turned 21. She just graduated from university and still plotting her career goals. So with these ideas in the minds of the young, I can imagine, I have actually heard a young couple say that they do not want to have children because of climate change. And now with what is happening in the world, you have a valid excuse. You do not want to have children because of the pandemic. And so, because of these ideas in the minds of the young, the population growth in the entire world is constantly in the decline. In the 1970s, there was an average of 6 births per woman. In 2017, it was 2.7 births per woman. A recent study at the University of Washington's Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation projects global fertility rates to fall below the 1.7 mark by 2100. Now, according to a report on the world's changing demographics, in order for a culture to maintain itself for the next 25 years, a certain fertility rate is required, and that is 2.11 children per family, where a number lower than the projected 1.7, or like for example 1.3, would be irreversible. And will take 80 to 100 years for it to correct itself to normalcy. You may ask, if there are if fertility rates are down, why is it that the total population is already at 7 billion? It is mainly because mortality rates are going down and people are living longer. Life expectancy is higher. You see, it is true what they say. The truly 60 is the new 40. I turned 60 last March, and I feel that I am still at my peak. Healthy trends in healthy lifestyle, new innovations, new discoveries in modern medicines is making it all possible for people to live longer. 5 years ago, I shifted gears and launched a career in image consulting. I studied and actually took an exam and passed the same exam for international certification at 55. That would have been unthinkable in the time of my parents. The World Health Organization has declared that 65 years old is still young. Before, based on the Friendly Societies Act in Britain, old was defined by age 50. The Health Organization has done a new research recently, and according to their research, they have actually changed the criterion for age. Like, for example, 0 to 17 is underage. Listen to this. 18 to 65 is youth or young people. So if you are anywhere between 21, 30, or 40, then we are same age range. We are considered young people. 56 to 79 is middle age. So, oh, I'm sorry, 66 to 79 is middle age. So maybe when I start feeling something when I'm at 67, then I would say these are middle age blues. 80 to 99 is elderly or senior, and over 100 is long-lived elderly. So, the much deplored population explosion should be seen as a blessing rather than a disaster because it stems from a fall in mortality, proof of improvements in people's lives, and not of disaster. Actually, we do not need all those researchers to tell us that fertility rate is declining. We just have to look at our own families. My mother was the eldest of 12 children. I am the eldest of 7. I bore 5 children. And now my married children have limited themselves to 2. So you see, most of the world is transitioning into a natural population decline. I remember being in Madrid and our friend was showing us around and he told us that this certain highway was newly built and only rabbits are crossing it. Many societies are facing a real danger of extinction. You might think this is great. We will have cleaner environment, less crime, lesser people to feed, therefore less problems. Maybe true, except for the inverted age structure, where there is a higher population of aging people rather than young people. And it is the young, it is the workforce that pays taxes. It is the young people that contributes to social security. Elderly people outnumbering the young people in the workplace is a problem. My parents did not have problems with their social security pension. And why is that? Because of the sheer number of collections of the social security brought about by a robust economy. Many young people working and therefore contributing monthly to social security. The anomaly that they said is happening or has happened, we did not really notice it because monthly many young people were contributing to the national healthcare system. So what happens in a demographic winter when the elderly population outnumber the young? Who will take care of the elderly? So what happens in a demographic winter when the elderly population outnumber the young? Who will take care of the elderly? Do you know that already rich countries like Japan, China, Finland, and most European countries are counting on the Filipinos to take care of their aging population? Why is that so? First, because they do not have young people. They do not exist because they chose not to give birth to them. And even if the young people exist, then they do not want to take care of their elderly parents. The density of population in the urban cities has become so intense that one would think that indeed the country is overpopulated. In Metro Manila, for example, we are overcrowded because 13% of our population hails in the National Capital Region, and NCR is only 1% of the entire Philippine land. People flock to the cities because there is nothing much to do in the countryside. Our problem, therefore, is not overpopulation, but maldistribution of population. People are hungry, not because we cannot feed everyone, but because of the lack of modern farming methods, lack of infrastructure, and the age-old problem of corruption. The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources has said that any death from hunger, any death from malnutrition in the Philippines is a criminal offense because we have enough food in our seas to feed the world, not to factor in the yield in agricultural lands and, of course, livestock. I remember on one trip to Bangkok, my daughters and I, we stayed in the house of a friend. And so propriety calls that we should at least buy some groceries for the house. So my friend and I, we went to the grocery and I was surprised. I was surprised that food was so cheap. And I asked my friend, why is it that food here in your country is so cheap, so much cheaper than in the Philippines? And she remarked, because we are an agricultural country. And I said, the Philippines is an agricultural country. We were the ones who taught Thailand agriculture. Agriculturists from neighboring countries such as Malaysia, Indonesia come to the Philippines to study at UP Los Baños and the Pampanga Agricultural College, and they bring back what they learned here to their home countries. In the meantime, our own farmers are hungry. In the meantime, our own farmers stay poor because they do not get enough support from the government. There are budget allocations, all right. You will see that in the national budget. But history has shown that all this money allocated for agriculture has been invested, has been brought to bogus projects. We are poor, not because we are many. We are poor because many people have enriched themselves at our expense. We are poor because of flawed economic policies, corruption, and greed. We are poor because the leaders that we have voted into office, instead of serving, they plunder the economy. At the start of the pandemic, what did our government distribute? Condoms. Yes, condoms was in the package together with the face mask and alcohol. Human capital is always a country's best resource. My husband and I, we are entrepreneurs. So on the first time, on a visit to Canada in Vancouver, as entrepreneurs, we are always looking for business opportunities. So in that visit to Vancouver, that was in the early 1990s, I was checking out the place. Oh, of course, it was beautiful. It was clean. It was very laid back. There was hardly any people around. There was a Goldilocks store, and when we came in, there were no customers inside. And I said, what will I do here? If I am a trader, if I am an entrepreneur, who will avail of my services? Who will buy my wares? Because foot traffic is always a major consideration in any business enterprise. And we have that here. We have lots and lots of that here. To the young people listening right now, let me share this with you. Parenthood was not meant to be a party. There will be difficulties. Sacrifices has to be made. I remember growing up with my 6 other brothers and sisters. I never had much time on my own. I was being the eldest, I was always taking care of a younger sibling. There was only enough money for basic necessities. Food was simple, nothing fancy. My mother did all the household chores while my father went to work. It was a single income family, but we had parents who taught us good values. We had parents who made sure that we will grow up as people of character, and that is what we brought to the world. When my mother fell ill about 5 years ago, which eventually led to her demise, it was difficult, yes, but not as difficult because my brothers and we shared our time, talents, and our treasure in order to make her remaining days in this world bearable. When my brothers and sisters would look back at those times, we said that yes, it was easy because there was many of us. There was 7 of us helping carry the load. When my children were young, I did not have all those, fancy, expensive leather bags that young ladies would sport today. I did not know the taste of sushi or ramen. I knew Jollibee. Much of what we earned went to their education, health, and welfare. Now they are all professionals, happy in their own careers. They are God fearing. They still go to Sunday Mass and they join us in our daily rosary. My life is easier and more fun because of that my children are around me. They, During the lockdown, they would do everything for me. They do the groceries, do errands in the banks. I am able to do this recording because of my son. What am I trying to say here? Parenting is challenging but extremely rewarding if you do it right. If you give your children good access to education, teach them good values, instill in them the fear of the Lord, it then you are good. Then you are doing a great job. To be a parent means to make sacrifices, and it is these sacrifices that is our path to holiness. The same is true on a national scale. If we nourish every Filipino not only with food but with good education, opportunities, and good values, then poverty and hunger will be eradicated, and we will reap the economic benefits of a large population. What are these benefits? There will be greater domestic market. We don't even need to export our products. It will be consumed by the domestic market. Our yield, our manufacturing is enough for everyone because we will have our own consumers. And because of that, because of a robust economy, we will be able to attract local and foreign investors. The sheer market size stimulates innovative activity. There will come from the large population geniuses, innovators, and inventors. A well-fed, well-educated population will positively impact not only their home countries, but the entire world. The economy will be energized because of the presence of the young. Now, I'd like to end my talk with the life skills that you learn coming from a large family. After all, I am a soft skill expert. Growing up, our home was always full, always crowded. In fact, our dining table, we had to go in 2 batches because there was just too much of us. So, what are the skills that we learned? I learned to wait. There was one toilet in the entire house, so I had to wait for my turn. I was able to discipline my body so that it can wait for its turn. I learned how to socialize. If you are a girl, then you can ask your brothers what are the things that they do not like in a woman. If you are a boy, then you can get tips from your sisters on how to behave. So, there is lesser time to experiment. My youngest child, who is now 21, she came after 12 years. She is my best argument against tubal ligation. I would always tell women, see, if I had myself ligated at around 34 or 35, as most women are inclined to do, then I would not know that God has another beautiful gift for me. So you learn to socialize. I remember my youngest child when she was in her prom, when she had a prom date. So this prom date went to the house to pick her up, and her two brothers were there to welcome him, and even the boyfriend of my daughter. And they sized him up, and needless to say, the prom date behaved well throughout the night. Friendship, patience, and understanding also comes a little easier for people who come from big families. You learn to be patient. You learn to value people. Also, you learn to be assertive and shine on your own. Because if you are sharing the attention of your parents to six more people, then you need to think of strategies. How do I get the yes? How do I get the attention of my mother or my father? So you check your siblings. If you have a brother or a sister that is constantly getting a yes or getting the approval of your parents, then you can get tips from her or from him. If, for example, a sibling is always getting a no, then you can also learn from that. Or if someone is not so effective, so you learn how not to do it. You have role models around you every day, giving you ideas how to be effective in your daily tasks and struggles. You learn how to share, if not only to share the bathroom, but also share other resources, share food, share clothes, share ideas. You have this mindset that there is always room for more. And then, therefore, learning to share, you become a generous person. And we need generous people in the world. You learn how to be part of a team. You learn how to work well with others, to support other people in their ideas. You understand better the dynamics of a big group. You understand how people are feeling, and you're able to respond accordingly. People from big families also now know how to discuss divisive topics and stay kind. People in big families learn how to disagree in an agreeable manner, because they have realized that at the end of the day, they are still family. And so they bring that to the workplace. They bring that to their teams. In my household, right, it happens that the helpers, they fight among themselves. And so when I would confront them, I would ask them, do you ever see us being unkind to each other? Do you ever see me and my husband shout at each other? Do you ever see my children bang the door at us in anger? They don't see those behavior at home. Because we are plenty, we are open. I have, created a home where we are open to listening to their ideas, and we have learned to agree with each other or to disagree with each other in an agreeable manner. Sacred scripture and the church's traditional practice sees in large families a sign of God's blessings and the parents' generosity. Thank you so much for listening. I am glad that you were born.